Hello and welcome. It is now the 26th of March, 2021. My name is Derek, and this is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and amongst the like, that's with each his own risk and their own reward. And I decide to really add some gold simply in a couple reasons. Embarrassment. I don't got much compared to other assets, and just as far as okay, I mean, I think cryptos are going to keep going higher, but the value is just uh, going way, way too much. And anyway, I'm adding gold as a main purchase I have just done. And let's now move on. Prices are going down, cryptos are going up, the ratios. Wow, let's just take a look at gold versus that of. Well, before we do that, let's just quickly look at the quicker, longer term on gold. Feeling like Fibonacci from here to here, it's. No, I'm not going to count it from there, but having a little bit of a correctionary move, some time below the 18, and it hasn't been above the 18 average of highs since September on the weekly term time frame. This thing will go off at some time very, very nicely. And well, that's the weekly already, or the daily. I've already shown that. And on the monthly, it's just holding and staying within this previous area here. So that's overall that's doing very good. But it has entered into this into this correctionary phase, holding at the 18 average of lows. Can't show it here, but the quarterly term time frame, the 18 average would be rising up around in here in the 14-15 area. If how big of a higher low or how slow of it as you would put it, we'll see. But we've went to this high of like over 2,000. Right now below 17. We could go 15. I would be very surprised if this even goes below this where we came from here, if it even goes there. But the next area of previous whatever, where like I guess where we came from, didn't want to use that word again. Congestion maybe, 1,500 or so, and of course in that area a bit below. But that's gold. But gold against the BTC. Let's just take a look at it in the weekly chart against the dollar first. So this is what gold has looked like over the last so many years, obviously in a beautiful uptrend against Bitcoin. And this isn't gold against Bitcoin, this is Bitcoin against gold. So technically, I know there's a way of reversing this. How did I do this? I remember trying to figure out one of these times, and it was. Where was the thing to make it go opposite? Not in this. Vertical lines, object, tree lines. I don't see anything. But anyway, where I want to go show, of course, is just how crazy this move has been. Because back in here, 0.06, if you want to put it from this perspective, where you needed 1/20th of. No, excuse me, you get 1/20th of an ounce of gold for an ounce of Bitcoin. Or 1/20th of a. Well, you get 20 Bitcoins for this much gold. 1/20th of an ounce. Now, for one Bitcoin, yeah, it's over 30 ounces of gold. And I spent a fraction of a Bitcoin in a pretty smaller size fraction, but multiple, not too many, but still multiple ounces of gold I'll be getting now. How much higher will this go, or how? I don't know, but this will be interesting because I can talk about like where we'll be, and I don't do this too often. But if you talk very large long term, will Bitcoin versus gold still be something we'll look at in 2040, 2050, 2060, and as far as the humans as in a whole, and will the gold versus the US dollar be something of a historical, literally a historical chart that of course just wouldn't trade anymore because the dollar will have one day, 1 week, 1 month where it will become passe. That's what I think anyway. That's why I like to diverse my assets into multiple different things: gold, silver, and cryptocurrencies. Now, Bitcoin, and at 52,450, been in a phenomenal move amongst this weekly term time frame. What kind of correctionary moves has it had since it's broken and left the 18 average above 11,000 before Halloween of last year? But 2 or 3 weeks going sideways, a couple going down here. What was the amount it went down from? Like a little over 40 to like a little under 30. So like 26, 27%. Then a single period down 21%. And it's already pretty much got it back. It's too much of the previous high, a little bit of a pullback in here. As we look on the daily chart, it technically was a higher high, but not really. A matching high, piercing extra. So far, what it has done is hold and stay within this area. So this high has pretty much been supported here, but it's leaving that area now. But at the same point, got this low, we got this low, still in the area to make a higher low. Even if it doesn't, even if it doesn't even make a matching low and it makes one somewhere below here, going below 40,000 or something, or 42, 41. Well, as the move has been so far on the weekly chart, way overextended, monthly, way overextended, but way overextended without any majorly phenomenal, from not with one decent phenomenal move on the early stages. Because when you are way above it, okay, where did we see this big, oh my goodness play, which hasn't happened yet? Because this is that OMG good play in here. And I'm just trying to remove it, but okay, the Control Z I was pushing on my keyboard like two or three times did nothing when I tried to remove the drawings there. But yeah, this move was like huge. But since then, it's key high on the level here, key low is retraced above it, making it okay high, and it's got this ascending little triangle sense. Not that fantastic of a move, but if this is leg one, correct, leg two, I just don't, doesn't look to me like leg two is over. That's one way that I'm looking at it. We could be due for one decent sized upside push. Be very interesting if such an event takes place. 4 hour term time frame. Okay, trying to draw a line in here. I did get it in. And within it, we have a major level of support that was established in the middle of March, March 15th in the afternoon. And then it had an okay rally, but only okay, about 75% of a retracement from the high to the low. But ever since it got to this point, it was really unable to have any type of monster good moves. And then got really weak here starting at 1600 hours on March the 20th. Breaking below the lows, then in turn resisting the 18 average of highs with the lackluster rally. Decent sized pullback, and even a okay rally that got above the highs but has been rejected really quickly. And not only was the rally rejected quickly, but the level of major support near this line was as well. Still even hasn't really resisted at the line, but kind of not really. I don't really. But yeah, it's this general area would be resistance if there is any yada yada type of stuff. But it tells me that this is either a failed breakdown or this is the start of significantly larger losses. Failed breakdown is because the statement has been occurred doing so 16 all these periods and here now it went sideways and a little bit more like this is that it's going to just falter. And because this is at high 57,000 until it can show any strength above it, it's or at least hold and stay above 54-ish area, 54 and change area for 20 to 40 hours, then that would start to exit my thinking of a decent chance or an okay chance of this breaking down. But because we've had this sort of down move, three sideways, down like this, and just like, well, 8, 7 periods more than anything from the down move. And a couple good decent sized rallies within the intra move. We can see two green candles, but overall, if it starts breaking down below this, the yeah, I'd be thinking just by looking at this quickly. I mean, 47 mid change. that's all I'm going to cover on Bitcoin. I'm going to go over another coin. I probably haven't shown this coin in over a year. I haven't traded it in a year and a half. I bought it today. I like its setup. It's a day trade. Well, when I say day trade, you can say a week trade, a month trade, as far as the time duration, because you don't know how long it's going to when it's going to happen, when you have a move, when you're going to get out, stuff like that. And it's that of Go chain, which is interesting. That if you on Binance look at your wallet for Go chain and Theta, they're the exact same. Now your Theta and T Fuel one are the exact same, and you might notice stuff like your Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash are the same, and maybe a bunch of others that are correlated together. But the Go chain is most certainly correlated. It's the exact same as my Theta one that I deposit to, which is just interesting. Now, of course, my hardware wallet, I put my Go chain in this in a wallet with the private keys that I have, and when I need to sell it, I'll just deposit to the exchange. And you know what? All those steps. It's like, oh my goodness, it's like anxiety attacks to a degree, in the sense of, okay, now, say I need to bring coins to an exchange. So you go to your hardware wallet, you log in, however it is, and then you copy the deposit address, you paste it in your hardware wallet, you put the amount in you want, and you're looking back and forth at like Binance or Bittrex or whichever site or wherever it is you're getting the address from, like six, seven, 8 times it seems. You're looking at the last four, five, six characters. You're looking at the first two, three, four. You're making sure there's no empty space anywhere, and it's just. And then it even gets to the point of, okay, now I'm saying to the exchange, come on exchange, don't screw me over, in the sense of like, don't have any like. Well, I actually had a situation recently. I'm not going to say the exchange, but they got it fixed up, where I sent a withdrawal. It took them like 3 weeks or 4 weeks to, about 4 weeks, but it took 2 to 3 weeks to process it. And it took like I had to take I sent tickets in, but I sent to like just a general account ticket, and then it worked that day. It was fixed, and I got my funds moved to the wallet essentially. But anyway, with that being said, it's one of those type of anxiety attacks, if you will. Not really attacks, but just crazy anyway. And then, of course, when you withdraw it, same thing. Okay, make sure that you're looking at all the numbers over and over correct. And when you're so many steps, because you check it a few times and then you push the withdrawal button. Then you go to your email, you check it, and then you check on your email. And then you can even check it on your cell phone, but I can't even really read my cell phone when it comes down to it. It's hard to read. I just can't read small screens. So with the move, we had a big move to this high, come back, show strength at the 18, match previous high in here, come back and this support within this resistance, and now it's starting to break it again. I think this is a magnificent setup and has the potential for decent size moves, especially within these types of coins. I mean, this got all the way down to like 20. Now it's at 120. 6x move. I mean, these cryptos can easily have 2100 plus x moves against the Bitcoin. And well, again, I showed this with the long term. It most certainly did on the downside. I mean, this thing back in 2018 was like over 1,000. Okay, that's what happens. And looking at just chart patterns, where in markets, where is the market came from? Where are we now? And where do we have the potential to go? Where we came from, correctionary move from a down place, we can see the 18. Once the correctionary move was won by the bears, this is where it started. And then you had this move down here. And then where we were, and we're not where we are now, but where we were was this rally obviously didn't break down, so this correctionary move was enough to make the market at least neutralize the situation. And then these 3 periods are just crazy. So from based on where we were, and the 3, you have period 1, the week of March 8th, has a significant break above these levels of resistance and goes up and matches this previous congestion area and the upper end of the congestion area as well from August. We can see intra-period it pulled back, and then you have a follow through. It's an inside period, but a very productive one, especially with how the follow through of this week is, because it rallies not quite to the previous high, but it obviously had a pullback, as we can see with the line coming in. We can see this one, it's already gotten those. It's already back to the week's high from the previous week. And again, we can see this is a high from the previous week. And the selling from March the 20th down to March the 22nd to me is, oh, it's already failed. For, and even the selling from this move is successful, because Fibonacci, if it can hold 61.8% of the move, hold and stay above or within it with it basically, and 61.8% from whichever of these lows you use, like the 36 or whichever one, easy on this move. So that's the state of a correct move. Then the state from this high, which I might as well bring my fib calculator up, 135. We'll divide that by the low, which is 64. Basically almost a 2x move. A little more, microscopically more. So the 61.8, for this to be a real selling move, it would have to hold and stay below 102. Well, it's 117. It failed to do that. So there's 102. Then a key number at 85. So from this move, you can see it resisted 61.8. Well, first it resisted 38.2, and then it supported the 38.2 really well. Gets above it. That was a failed breakout and a failed breakdown, but the failed breakdown, well, move down. I'm not going to call it a failed breakdown. The failed breakout had its move down on the previous low. But that one has been, you hold in here for quite some time, and then even stuff like looking at it like in this here. You go down like this, you're grinding lower, and you're like, okay, looks like it's going to go lower possibly. We've had all the support hit, but that's a decent sized green candle. You know that if you're any type of bearish spot, you have to really concentrate or think like, hey, maybe it may be, and I'm okay. Maybe you change tune of thoughts. I'm not saying it's because I know it, but it is. And oftentimes, if you see something like this, it's not going to be immediately that's going to happen if it goes up. But you see for 2 periods, oh, okay, strength at the highs after that move. Okay, well, there we go. So now it's had the move. It's coming down. You see that it makes lower highs from this. You can propel lower. The bearish things are fine. But if it makes a higher low, starts to rally up, 18 starting to rise, you got to change your tune of the market. And that's just a, well, okay, that's an instant change your tune kind of deal. And then within that instant change your tune, 2 red candles down, back to where we came from amongst this major lead resistance, and it's starting to make that move higher. So when I looked at this today, I was just thinking, just looking around, and it's a little easier to make these plays because, I mean, the guy had the gold, more gold, because I only have literally a small handful amount. I'll have a larger handful amount now, but at least it'll be a little harder, a little heavier for a hand. And then within the extra funds, look how much theta I got. I mean, I'm barely taking the percentage amount of theta that I used to. Did I use theta to buy this? What did I use to buy this with? Theta, yeah, I used theta. Um, well lower than 10% of my theta, and yet what I got is a pretty decent holding for of gold chain, which is lower than my gold, but still, it's of course gold is a real asset, and are these cryptos real assets? Yes or no? I mean, that's going to give different answers for different people. Are they tangible? Same thing. The cryptos are a working system, and it does seem to me though that it's going to be very common when there are purchases going around amongst the mom and pop type businesses, and even big businesses are getting into Bitcoin and such. But at least within the mom and pop type businesses, and you're going to notice that payments are going to commonly be made in multiple different ways: fiat currency, gold, silver, and cryptocurrencies. Same thing when you work for the man or the person, the woman, the institution, the company, those people, the group of people. They might pay you in silver, they might pay you in gold, they might even pay you in fiat cash, and of course, they might pay you in cryptocurrencies. And when you talk about cryptocurrencies, this is where I'm going on for the being real and such and easy. How more common is it where the person paying the employee lives quite far away, and yet they're able to work within each other very easily because of, well, the internet basically. And it's very easy for people, for companies or people to pay somebody in whichever cryptocurrencies. Now we're looking at all the coins that are available. Go Chain, there's just a whole bunch of them out there. And so it's an interesting aspect. For me, this is a type of spot that either works or it doesn't. And more times than not, I think this should work because I really love how this setup is right now. Now, as far as some quick Fibonacci upside, I mean, you could almost just pick the 65 low because I want to do high this to 61.8, but you know, it's 65 is pretty much the number. So let's just say I'm going to do 135 and, well, the upside here is 214. Does that make sense? I mean, I know this is not the greatest of log charts, but that's fine. That's probably a decent area of where I would go to. So a good pierce above 200. And what I'm going to do now, because this is for my purposes, and I probably wouldn't forget anyways, I'm just going to put a line there because that tells me where my exit area is. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.